We bask in the sun on a gorgeous Sunday with two teams vying for win number one. USL Championship action presented by Wheels opens up the skies with Miami FC going toe-to-toe with Las Vegas Lights FC. And hello everyone, with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm David Gascon. Thanks for joining us today. Well, Ricky, it is time to move for one of these teams. We hope it's the home team.
And you talked to Anthony Pujols. You said, look, last time out at home was probably our best performance until we got into the 18-yard box. 0-2-4 in the season, only scoring 3 goals already. So if you're Anthony Pujols, you need to right that wrong, especially in around that 18-yard box, to pick up your first win at home against the Las Vegas Lights side.
Las Vegas, only one of a couple teams that is undefeated on the season. Sacramento, the top dog, 5-0-2. Las Vegas, the bottom of the pack. They're not winning, but they're not losing.
And that's something that Isidro Sanchez told us. Said, look, 4 games on the road, we picked up points. That's very difficult to do in this league. In leagues around the world, we come together, we have our identity, and we need to frustrate this Miami FC side. But it's another opportunity for Las Vegas Lights to keep climbing up this table on the road.
Yeah, they picked up a monster point last week. Biggest reason for that, Leonardo Diaz in net, stopped a PK, and helped them prevail in a 2-2 draw with Memphis.
And it's a very difficult field to go into against Memphis 901, and it was all about moments. Isidro Sanchez told us, whether it's a save, whether it's a strike from goal, whether it's a defensive play, when you have Ledesma on the field, he can drop things from a drop of a hat, create that special moment, and he's going to be a massive part here today.
And you hit the nail right on the head with Ledesma. He does so many things right, but what has impressed you about his game?
I think he just has a very good feel, whether it's to come into feet, whether it's to spin in behind, can beat you in the numerous of different ways, whether it's 1v1, combination play. He can pull the trigger from distance. If you're a Las Vegas Lights fan, you want him on the ball early and often, asking questions of Miami FC and that back line.
Miami comes in this contest a bit banged up, but one guy that needs to step up in the worst kind of way, Claudio Repetto for the home team.
And a lot of weight's going to go on the shoulder for Repetto, but he needs to be very smart. He needs to stay high and occupy the center back. So that's going to let Telfer Soto to come underneath and to stretch in behind. A target number 9 likes to have that presence in around that 18-yard box, and very clinical. If you get him service in around that 18-yard box, it's going to be a very good day for Miami FC.
Well, the question is, who's going to grab 3 points today? Hopefully we have an answer coming up on the other side. We'll get you the starting 11 and first touch moments away. It's Miami FC, Las Vegas Lights FC coming up next.
No one was born a hero. It's an everyday journey. There are no shortcuts, no days off, no perfect scenarios. Things won't always go the way you expect. But overcoming challenges is part of the game too. Your time is now. When passion runs through you, become your own hero.
This broadcast is brought to you by Wheels. FPL. Learn how FPL is investing in Florida's future at FPL.com/value. And Good Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers. We are live here at Ricardo Silva Stadium. On the campus of FIU and with Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm David Gascon. Ricky, starting 11 for the home team.
So Callum Chapman-Page goes out. Curtis Dorn slides to that center back position, but don't be fooled. This can quickly look into a three-back system. You have Segbers, you have Telford as the wing-back, but it all comes down to those front three. Repetto, Sorto, Valo, Akinyoti. How quickly can they get on the ball and confident to pull the strings against this Las Vegas Lights? For Isidro Sanchez, 4-4-2 can either be a 4-3-3. We're going to see what it looks like, but it all comes down to those front three. Kubo Torres and Bato Patello Foss. How quickly can they get in behind and play that game of cat and mouse between Paco Craig and Curtis Dorn? You have Metrano Carroll. Those two players need to be very good in keeping everything compact and keeping everything in front of them.
Zuluaga in net here today. He is a Miami native, so it's pretty nice, the 19-year-old in net against obviously the hometown faithful. See what kind of greeting Miami FC provides to him today. Temperatures today at 82 degrees, though humidity is right up there as you'd expect in Miami. Right now it's 68% humidity, but a couple scattered clouds. A perfect day of ball, and this thing is underway. Miami going from one side of the pitch to the other. You figure it. With Anthony Pulis, you mentioned the moving parts and where they're looking to get some kind of offense. You do have to think that Flo Below is going to get that offense in gear. He scored the first goal this season, but that was so many moons ago.
Yeah, how quickly can he get on the ball, especially between the lines? So if you're Bushu and Jimenez in the center of the park, your defensive position needs to be spot on. Florian Below, very clever at finding those half pockets.
Las Vegas on the attack, and one of the things that we have spotlighted is they're one of a couple teams still undefeated, but winless on the year, 0-0-4, 4 points. All 4 matches, though, have come on the road as you take a look at Anthony Pulis, his second season as the leader of the technical staff for Miami FC. He's going to have a trying week ahead of him, though. We were talking about just a few days ago about not only the starters here today, but also the history, the endurance, and how much is going to be left in the tank for some of his guys, just because you have the match here today, and then Inter Miami is lurking in the weeds.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive week for both of these clubs. In the U.S. Open Cup, Miami FC takes on Inter Miami. Las Vegas Lights welcomes RSL at Cashman Field. So a lot of riding on this game. If you want any chance to take down an MLS side, you have to be confident. It all starts here. So these 90 minutes of football are going to be extremely important for both of these sides.
Had a quick look at Isidro Sanchez. Sanchez was geeked up to talk to us a few days ago. He's enthusiastic about his team. He mentioned 25 new players, a brand new staff, so it is all about musical chairs for Las Vegas as they're trying to knock their first win of the season. Miami, though, on the attack inside the 18. That shot denied on the way through. Repetto, who we mentioned at the top of the show, had a chance from up close.
Probably the best passage of play there from Miami FC, but talk about last-ditch defending effort there from Lucas Stolfer to come across, put a terrific challenge to deny Repetto probably the opening goal within the second minute. You're Anthony Pulis, you have to be extremely pleased with how your boys are on the front foot already.
Well, it's something we didn't see a whole lot of last week when you look at the body of work. That match against Detroit, a scoreless draw. And for Miami, they have 2 losses in the season, 4 draws, so the 4 points that they do have, they've been in a position of strength a handful of times. 3 of their first 5 contests, they scored the match's first goal, but failed to hold on to it. Could be a completely different setting for them when it looks at the Eastern Conference standings, but obviously it's neither here nor there. Zuluaga getting a touch here. We mentioned Leonardo Diaz not starting here today, but obviously one of the heroes just last week against Memphis, stopping a PK. Match ended in a 2-2 draw for the road team. Lucas Stoffer scored in the 15th minute. Ledesma in the 78th minute. That was the equalizer. So take a look now at the injury report brought to you by Baptist Health.
You just see for Miami FC, Cal Murphy, Callum Chapman-Page. There's going to be big 2 misses for Anthony Pulis, and if you're Isidro Sanchez, none reported. So all is nice in the camp for Las Vegas Lights, and hopefully it stays that way.
A couple guys banged up for Anthony Pulis. Telford down, and he's a little bit of agony right now. Telford getting the start today. Did not start the last couple of matches, but it's good to see him amongst the regular 11.
Such a special player for Miami FC. The pace, the power that he possesses, the ability to stretch opposition. Going to be a nice matchup on this near side between him and Lucas Stolfer.
Segbers Did not start last week, but back amongst the starting 11. That pass interrupted. Las Vegas just trying to get this thing in harm's way. Toronto. And there's a few guys that you have connections with Las Vegas. They're a different team, but coming into this matchup, how do you expect them to attack Miami?
I think second balls are going to be extremely massive. You look just at the profile that they have on that top line, Botella, Faz, Kubo, Torres, players that are out and out number 9s. They want to invite the...
Well, I think it's one thing, Ricky, that you mentioned when we talked earlier this week, the contrast in styles, right? Because Detroit was so north and south. You mentioned it. They were one of the few teams in USL Championship that are direct. Las Vegas, not so much.
They have players that can beat you through combination play, but talking about Botella Faz, they want to invite the pressure. That's going to get them be able to drop it off, spin in behind. So if you're Miami FC, whether you're Bolo Akinyoti, Dewuna, Valo, you're positioning defensively to win those second balls are going to be extremely important.
This one will go out of bounds. We'll be throwing for Miami. And Zendejas in net here today. Adrian picked up his first clean sheet of the season just last week against Detroit. One of the small bright marks early on the season for Miami. And keep in mind, first clean sheet of the season for Zendejas. Miami as a club had 17 a season ago. There's Repetto with that left foot line. Tries Sordo. He finds Twine. Christian Sordo in the 6th minute, exactly what the home team needs. Off the foot of Repetto to Sordo, it's 1-0 Miami FC.
And it's a dream start here for Anthony Pulis. As this ball rotates to this left-hand side, it's Repetto playing assist maker. But as he picks his head up for back line, when you get to the byline, you want to retreat and go towards your goal line. That leaves that real estate for that cutback ball. Look at the movement from Sordo. Just holds his run, plays off the shoulder of Zach Carroll. There's no movement between Zach Carroll and Jimenez to let him in. When you give Sordo that time and space inside that 18-yard box, he's going to make you pay. Terrific finish, Miami FC 1-0 up in the 7th minute.
Monster goal for Sordo, and another one for Miami FC because it's early as it is in the 6th minute. That goal scored by Sordo is his first of the season, and for Repetto, his first helper on the campaign. And it's 1-0 Miami. And this kind of goes back, I hate saying it, but we rewind to last week. Ricky, you had mentioned the desire for Miami to be more creative but more precise on crosses or entry inside the 18. It's almost like they heard you from a rewind of last week. So Repetto to Sordo, and just like that, out of the gates quickly, it's 1-0.
And there's so many times that any team in USL Championship, you get into that final third and you just smash the ball across blindly. You don't pick up your head. So Repetto has a composure to drop it back and just the movement from Sordo. He understands, as my striker goes out to his left-hand side, I'm going to be able to have that real estate to come in late. But if you're Las Vegas Lights, extremely frustrating for Isidro Sanchez. There's no movement, there's no communication between Zach Carroll and Jacob Boucher. You see there, that soft spot, you're always going to get in trouble when a player like Sordo steps inside that 18-yard box and makes you pay.
Yeah, and you see Carroll there. It seemed like everyone in the back line for Las Vegas was flat-footed.
And you never want to do that. That's when you want to be proactive. You want someone to take the initiative.
Watch out here with Telfer. Telfer's got some help inside the 6. That one just broken up at the last second. Sordo doing more work. Takes a shot. That one blocked on the way through by Metrano.
You just have a different feel for Miami FC that we've seen throughout this first 6 games. The ability to get in behind and commit numbers into that final third. Having a lot of real estate on this left-hand side, whether it's between Telfer, Sordo, having that 2-man game. Better defensive positioning here from Las Vegas Lights. Put that wall right in front of Sordo, unable to create that opening gap, had that finishing touch. But so far, if you're Anthony Pulis, dream start within 10 minutes.
Man, what more can you ask for? For Miami FC, it's just their 4th goal scored this season. And this corner kick brought to you by FPL. So we'll see what they dial up here. They cross the header, bang, bang play. It's now 2-0 with Paco Craig for the 2nd time this season.
And we've seen it throughout the season. Curtis Thorne comes in, the quality that he possesses, just to whip the ball into a dangerous situation. And you cannot leave that man wide open about 7 yards out. He's going to make you pay. We've seen it once. We're going to see it again. Paul Craig, the ability to get his second goal on the air. He rises up like a salmon and just rocks this thing into the back of the net. There's nothing Zuluaga can do. Once again, Miami FC 2-0 up within 10 minutes.
I think it just feels like a world of frustration has been let out in the first 10 minutes of action for Miami. It's not for lack of effort, just the unfortunate circumstances of not being able to execute to their fullest potential. But 2 opportunities have found the back of the net, and the floodgates have opened a little bit for the home squad.
You talk to Anthony Peels, he says, look, we're doing everything right. The only thing that we've been lacking is that final action, the bit of quality to stick the ball into the back of the net. Not a matter of if, it's a matter of when the floodgates were open. If you're Las Vegas Lights, these next 5 minutes are going to be extremely important for you to get your feet underneath you, get the confidence within the team. You never want to let 1 goal in within 10 minutes, let alone 2. So what does this look like for Isidro Sanchez and the boys in white?
Well, the weather today did not call for rain, but we've had a couple lightning strikes early on in this contest. And quite frankly, Las Vegas has been hit with a hammer.
You're looking at the players in the center of the park, Jimenez and Bouchou, to get on the ball, take the sting out of this game, really get the rhythm back. Don't want to hit that home run ball right at the moment. Connect your passes, play simple, and slowly, once you get the rhythm, that's when you're able to take chances, especially when you advance in that final third.
Well, we mentioned at the top of the show with Zuluaga, the 19-year-old and Miami native, getting the start here today in front of the hometown faithful. But, wow, he has had a unwelcoming greeting by Miami FC. A couple of goals on a couple of shots. Sorto, Telford to his left. Velo, nice move, Velo, and he gets taken down just outside the 18. Officials say play on.
Once again, Miami FC having a lot of success just carving out the center park of Las Vegas Lights. The shape is all over the place. Too many gaps being opened up between the field.
Nuuna, who's out there today. Bolu as well in the middle of the pitch. Zendejas. And Aiden Stanley.
Once again, you just see as Carroll steps off his line, Metrano needs to shift over. A secondary helper in terms of defensive positioning at the moment for Las Vegas Lights.
So Isidro Sanchez, the head coach of Las Vegas, bringing in new personnel, new staff for him. And he was with the club a few years ago, but now returning, and he's got some work in front of him here today. No sense in panic, but you look at how things have opened up. Not a promising proposition for him. The only benefit of falling behind by this kind of a margin is that it happens so early. So you have what would be at least 81, 82 minutes to play with to see if you can carve into this lead and then find an equalizer.
And it's better there for Metrano as Bagley gets caught out with the 1-2. Comes across, gets in between him and Mark Segbers, just lets us go. Ball roll over the end line, but those are little things that you're trying to claw yourself back into the fundamentals of defending. As one player steps off his line, the coverage to stay compact and make life extremely difficult for opposition.
Well, the bad news for Las Vegas is they're down 2-0. The good news is you have plenty of time. Miami has only conceded more than 1 goal once this season. It was at Tampa Bay where they lost 2-0. But for all intents and purposes, they've been relatively stout on the defensive end.
That's to be expected from a coach like Anthony Peels, who's just so good defensively, tactical, to make everything in front of them compact, narrow, just a nightmare to defend. So it's a big challenge here for Las Vegas Lights. See how they're bound to break down this defensive side for Miami FC.
And to your point, too, when you look at this, you're probably breaking this game up now into certain segments. So if you are Las Vegas, how do you bleed into this deficit?
I think the first 10, 15 minutes at this moment, play yourself, get the confidence. Not connecting passes like that, it's going to be a nightmare so many times. Miami FC is turning their defense into offense. So keep the ball, make Miami FC chase and get into the advanced positions more oftentimes than not. And don't force anything. That's something that Isidro Sanchez is going to tell his boys at the moment.
See how they approach them. Dejas quickly out off his line. And he'll cover up and get this thing back the other way. And more often than not, you feel like whether you're an amateur athlete or a professional, it's human nature to take your foot off the gas. But in Miami FC's case, you're still looking for win number one, so you want to put your foot to the throat of Las Vegas as quickly and as firmly as possible.
And if you're an attacking player, you see the ball hit the back of the net 2 times within 10 minutes, you want more.
Yeah.
You want to be selfish. You want to keep scoring goals, because if you're Anthony Pujols, this game can easily get out of hand 3-4, 5-0, and that sets you up extremely nicely for this massive week ahead of you.
That happened last week, in fact. Sacramento and Colorado Springs, and Sacramento tattooed Colorado Springs. 4-0 was the final score in that contest. So it is possible, and it has happened more than once so far this year in USL Championship action. Oddly enough, the bookmakers in Las Vegas had Miami as a slight favorite, but had the goal total at 2.5 with the possibility of going over 3, and hit 2 goals in the first 10 minutes.
It all just comes down to spacing for Las Vegas Lights at the moment. Too many times, Bushu Jimenez getting caught out of position. There's a big gap between lines. That's when you have Florian below. That's when you have a Sordo coming in between lines, getting on the half turn, and with the willing runners, it's off to the races.
Callum Chapman-Page not on the lineup today. He was injured last week in the second half against Detroit. Looked like a hamstring injury. Status is day-to-day. Aren't we all, of course?
One thing, you just see that hole in the middle of the field. And that ball comes into Repetto. There's a secondary movement from Sordo. You always want to have that single pivot playing that screener in front of your back line. That's what's lacking from Las Vegas.
Telfer has to move back a little bit. There's Stanley. Stanley making his 7th start in 7 matches now for Miami FC. Everything in the middle of the pitch right now. I want to remind you, select the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.us.select-sport.com. The latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Well, if you're just joining us to the party, you've missed the festivities, at least early on. 2 goals in the matter of 9 minutes. Christian Sordo with the assist from Claudio Repetto, and then Curtis Thorne off of a corner kick provide the spark for Paco Craig. Paco Craig has scored 2 goals this season, both of them headers. Perfect spots, too.
Great ball.
Segbers, good job of controlling, not giving up on the play. Wasn't flailing around trying to buy a call. Just could not maintain possession. Craig here. Easy to play when you have a lead, but there's just a great deal of confidence, it looks like, with Miami's passing. It's crisp and decisive.
And just a movement off the ball as well. Just a play like that, Carlos Sorto makes a run from inside to out. That opens up the passing lane from Telfer to play into a darting run from Repetto. A little bit too heavy, but just little things like that that we haven't seen from Miami FC. Within the first 20 minutes, clicking on all cylinders on the attacking end.
Andre Zuluaga in net here today. Leonardo Diaz getting the day off. So it's his first start of the season, and rudely welcome to the campaign. Zendejas reading that well. Velo and Segbers. Segbers had that ball ripped away at the last second by Jimenez. Jimenez is also a local product. He's born in Miami. Spent a decent amount of time in Colombia, but a handful of these players calling Miami and South Beach their home. Good. Craig just getting this thing out of harm's way. Segbers trying to do the same. 19th minute here. 2 goals in the first 9 minutes for Miami FC, and they're off and running. Oddly enough, Repetto had a chance in the first 90 seconds of the contest. This thing could have been 3-0. Just outside, looking to create Ledesma. See if he tees one up. He gave it up. Ledesma wanted it back again. Zendejas coming off his line. Good job by Segbers with that positioning there. Defend off Botello Faz.
But it's better passage of play there from Las Vegas Lights. The ball circulation. You have Andrew Carlton, you have Manuel Ledesma. Very good at understanding the spaces to pick up between lines, the combination play. And once again, Miami FC defensive, collapsing, not giving any real estate for this two to operate in.
These two teams got together once last year. Miami won it 1-0. Joaquin Rivas and Flo Velo scored in that contest. Cal Jennings scored the game-winning goal in the 78th minute. Rivas not injured today, just not amongst the starting 11. Thought it was interesting that Anthony Pulis mentioned to us when we were conversing with them that his players that are on the bench aren't reserves, they're impact players. But he does feel good about his group, the guys that he's used over the last 2-3 weeks. He's sent in multiple subs, not just 1 or 2.
Just talks about the trust that he has in his roster, doing the homework in the offseason to bring these players in. That's going to just help the side, and also gives you the flexibility. Kyle Murphy comes out, Claudio Repetto steps in. Same thing for Chapman Page. Curtis Dorn has the availability, the versatility to play different positions.
The one message is simple from Pulis is execute and hurry up and get it done. Repetto into the box. Because right now, they're behind the 8 ball when it comes to the playoff standings amongst the 8 teams in the Eastern Conference that are vying for a spot. Bolu goes down. But you don't want to dig yourself so much of a hole that you can't get out of it. It's tough to win week in and week out in USL Championship, let alone by a 1-0 margin every time out. Sorto his first, Craig his second. Paco's got 2 goals on the year and 1 assist. On the back line for Anthony Pulis, he leads the team so far this season in goals. Got 3 to the left is Sorto and 4 to his right. Works short to the left-hand side. The chip inside by Velo. Comes back to him. Velo outside. That's what happens here with Paco Craig again. Trying his luck, nobody around for him in Miami's kits.
Once again, it's just not sharp enough for Las Vegas Lights defensively. Too many times his ball's pinballing around inside that 18-yard box.
Botello Faz gave it up. See what they draft up here. Zendejas in the one hopper from Ledesma. And he chews that thing up.
And it's a good pick out here from Jimenez. Ledesma likes to come into the interior and go on his preferred left foot. And it's only a bit slow to step out. Unfortunate for Zendejas, it's straight at him, but Ledesma just has a very good understanding of when to push wide, but also when to come to feet. On this right-hand side for Las Vegas, with Lucas Stoffer coming around the corner. A lot of talent for Las Vegas at the moment.
And Ledesma scoring his first goal of the season last week. Stoffer, Botello Faz, Eric Torres, and Ledesma have all scored this year for Las Vegas. Stoffer's also got a couple helpers on the season. You know Lucas pretty well. What kind of a man is he?
Hardworking.
Yeah.
I think he's a player that's just a world of good for Isidro Sanchez. When you bring 20, 24 players in that don't know to create a culture, and that's something that he talked about on our phone call. We want to do everything together. When you look at anyone in this roster, there's no real egos in that locker room. Everyone is fighting for the greater good, for the Las Vegas Lights badge on some side, and that shows out in their play. It's not easy in the USL Championship to have 4 games on the road to open up the season and to pick up a point on every single game. And the teams that they played have been extremely good, hard games as well. Now it's another challenge for the Las Vegas Lights here. Down 2-0. in the first half of this first half.
Yeah, last season for Las Vegas, they were just one of those teams where it felt like they were so top heavy. They had a couple guys that did damage. Danny Trejo had 14 goals, Cal Jennings had 11, but nobody else on their roster had more than 2 all year. It's hard to imagine.
Now you have in Botella Faz, you have an Andrew Carlton, Kubo Torres, Ledesma, players that are game changers for this Vegas side. So if you give them any sign of hope or any sign of confidence, especially once you get into the attacking third, it's going to be a long day for Miami FC. But at the moment, Anthony Pulis' boys defensively, positionally, have been spot on.
Troubling part for Las Vegas, though, they're winless in the last 11 road matches dating back to July of 2022. They're 0-3-8 during that span. So you're thinking about not only scoring 1 goal here today, but you need at least 2 to get a point. But a lot of work in front, so we'll see if they can pull anything off. Las Vegas playing all their contests so far on the road. You think about when they can finally go back home. They won't do it for quite a while. They got a number here, though. One-on-one situation. Stanley getting back, but a nice move to the outside. Man in front. Zendejas is there with the contact near the 6. Ledesma goes down, but he's not barking at the official, asking for a penalty.
We've talked about game changers. This man 1v1 is where he makes his money. Andrew Carlton, the little hip swivel to send Aiden Stanley the wrong way. But as if you're Ledesma, you need to get across your defender in that situation. Give credit to Ryan Telford, defensive duties first. But if you're Ledesma, always make that near post run. If you get on the end of it, it's an easy tap in for a player of that quality. But give credit once again to the wingback, Ryan Telford. Last ditch defending effort.
Huge play. And Telfer has a motor. He's one of those guys that you can start him or you can bring him off the bench, and he's going to go full tilt for 90 minutes, maybe even longer than that.
For Las Vegas, you want a bit more of that movement, whether it's Pato Botelafos coming into feet, someone running in behind, or whether it is Carlton, whether it is Kubo Torres, that seesaw effect on that front line.
Carlton trying to create last week. He had 5 shots in that 2-2 draw with Memphis, and got some contact here with Bolu as Ledesma was taken out.
I'm starting to see Las Vegas Lights starting to get their footing just a tiny bit more. Ledesma getting more involved, asking questions of Miami FC, getting in those half spots. As he rises up to this ball, Bolu just comes from the side. Ledesma very clever, feels any sort of contact was always going to go down. The experience that he's had throughout his career.
See how Ledesma delivers here. Scored last week in the 78th minute, nearly in the identical spot. This one off for not. This cross, Thorne was there first to get to it. Sorto could have put a good touch on it. Ledesma, head up all the way, puts this one inside the box. A little bit of contact, and although Zendejas trying to keep that in. Maybe a little bit of embellishment. Stauffer was down there. Las Vegas playing their first 6 matches of the season all on the road. And for Miami, they've enjoyed themselves at home. At least not having to hop on a plane too much, sleeping in your own room, but have yet to prevail and capture 3 points on home field.
And it's a good run here from Lucas Stauffer from a deep line position. Ledesma, very clever. And Stauffer knows the contact's coming. Not enough in there for me. Paco Craig does extremely well. Las Vegas Lights having a very difficult time playing out of the back, especially in the center channel of the field. You just see the foul there from Jimenez, takes out Duuna. Sorts out from Bushu. just the spacing isn't right at the moment, especially trying to build out and break this Miami FC press.
See who delivers it. Thorne and Stanley are both there. It'll be Thorne, line drive, not enough lift on it though. Outside the give and go action, that shot was airmailed. And Velo would love to have that one back. The body language says it all. It's a rare miss hit for Miami today on set pieces.
Once again, you just see just some numbers of blue jerseys for Miami FC, making Las Vegas Lights play long because there's no one coming down to give that support, a different angle to bop the ball around. When you have Paco Craig in that center back position, a ball in the air, he's going to win probably 9 times out of 10.
Fans in attendance have been delighted so far with the result. And now it's about closing out this first half in style. Repetto. And that'll result in a goal kick. And as we've reached the 30th minute, got a water break coming up, and here it is right now. 31st minute, Miami FC with a 2-0 advantage over Las Vegas. Christian Sordo, his first goal of the season. That man right there, Paco Craig, his second of the year, on a wonderful header from the foot of Curtis Thorne on a corner kick. And Ricky, your first half thoughts so far?
If you're Anthony Pulis, you're extremely pleased with one, defensively very good in terms of covering, closing down those center channels when Ledesma comes in, but offensively as well, just committing a lot more numbers forward, getting more runners inside that 18-yard box, playing for each other, combination play. But if you're Anthony Pulis, you know you want to get that third to put this game to bed. But for Isidro Sanchez, you can just see him barking at his boy, saying, we need more in terms of movement, in terms of effort, in terms of just being smart with the ball. Too many sloppy turnovers. Their spacing hasn't been the best, especially in the center channel. Isidro Sanchez, he's going to get a reaction out of his boys. You see how passionate he is, telling this is not good enough. We're better than this. And the next rest of this game, the next hour for this game, we need to put our best foot forward.
Yeah, you think about wanting to ignite your team. That is a good, whole-hearted, stern lecturing from the head coach and Sanchez. We go back to the goals and how this contest opened up.
You just see how easy it is to play through lines for Miami FC, but this is world-class from Repetto. Once he gets into that 18-yard box, he understands the back line's going to go towards goal. So if I cut this back, Carlos Sorto's just hanging around there. It's a classy finish, opens up his hips and just passes it in. Talking about quality on the ball, Curtis Thorne, we've seen it whenever he's been on set pieces, just gives his boys a chance. Says go to the back post. When you have Paco Craig, aerial threat, terrific header, 2-0 Miami FC.
It's a rarity, but I have not heard you say the word easy and Miami FC at all this year. I mean, that's how challenging it's been, right? Yeah. It's like pulling out teeth to try to generate some offensive productivity on a consistent basis, but you had a wave of activity in the first 10 minutes, and they capitalized on 2 of their 3 chances.
And it's something that Anthony Pulis has been waiting for.
Yep.
Just everything to start clicking. He kept saying on our phone calls, look, we're giving the boys the right tools to get into the right situation, but it's up to them to execute. And now you're starting to see those ideas come to fruition and the execution to follow as well.
Isidro Sanchez laying into his team, and for good reason. They just did not have the start that he had envisioned. And sometimes you need that. But we'll see if Las Vegas can now respond in kind. Behind the 8 ball early, and now are looking at a mountain to climb out of. It's a large surface, and as we mentioned at first touch today, temperatures 82 degrees, humidity right around 69%. So as the weather continues to stay warm with the humidity, the day is going to be long as we got our first yellow card of the day. Duuna with the booking here in the 34th minute.
And there's no needs to go into this challenge if you're Duuna. Facing backwards is Jimenez. You come through a bit eager. That's a big challenge for the center midfielder on a yellow card. Then this first half discipline in terms of his positioning and the challenges that he decides to go into.
Jimenez. Stoffer with it. See how this approaches between a couple different defenders. That one fended off nicely by Thorne. Velo lost the handle on it. Played between his legs, and the officials say play on. Olvin Olivia is the lead official today. He's let the guys play for the most part, especially some delicate spots for Miami FC defenders. Well, most of the action in USL Championship over the weekend occurred yesterday. Zuluaga comes out, an open net. Repetto, unfortunate for him, didn't land on his feet.
And it's a good run here from Repetto as he rides the line. He understands when Segbers is going to release. That's when he makes a cut. Zuluaga, nervy moments coming off the line. Hits it into the back of Repetto. Repetto's been extremely lively and active and opportunistic, especially once he breaks that last line of Las Vegas.
Would not have been surprised that that ball had found Repetto again. Sprawling around, Carroll though nicely done. Zach doesn't make that play. All of a sudden Repetto's off to the races again. Segbers on the opposite side. Stanley here. Aiden's got Telfer on the left-hand side. Below up front. Repetto to his right now. Here's Telfer. Telfer wants it back. The chip to him. Ryan trying to make a move, just couldn't pull it off. Jimenez to nullify that. And we have an FPL corner kick from Miami FC. So Curtis Thorne's going to take this one. Thorne set it up the previous goal that was scored by Paco Craig. Miami has scored 3 goals in the first 15 minutes this season. It's the most in USL Championship. Thorne in that delivery, nobody around for Miami on that attempt. Given up. Stanley with a nice play. He has Sorto, but he gives it up over to Bolu on the left-hand side. Things have quieted down, I guess, if you will, Ricky, but still a good job for Miami maintaining possession throughout. Moving without the ball. More activity, Repetto, that one denied. So Zuluaga got both paws on it. Telfer trying to jump on it. Oh my. Lead official, Olvin Olivia, talking to Zuluaga. And Zuluaga trying to provide an argument. Ricky, we'll go back to this sequence here. After Zuluaga's save from Repetto, what did you see?
But once again, look at just the movement on the back end here from Miami FC. Repetto does extremely well, creates his own window. And as Zuluaga pairs this away, you talk about anticipating, getting there before. Ryan Telfer did extremely well. And I'll tell you what, that looks like it hits the chest out of Tyler Bagley. Very difficult for the referee to see that from that angle, but I think Miami FC gets away with one at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that has not gone their way at all this season. They've not had a call go for them. As Repetto, Zuluaga, obviously beside himself, not happy. He had a perfect angle on this. Olvin Olivia delivering the bad news to Zuluaga. But it will be Repetto with the penalty. Claudio looking for his first goal during the season. He scored in the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. But Repetto here on the delivery. 40th minute for Repetto. See if Zuluaga can come up big for his team. This would be an absolute dagger to the heart of Las Vegas with any thoughts of coming back and making this a game. Repetto on the approach, lets it rip, but he makes it 3-0. Claudio Repetto for the first time this season, and it's all Miami FC. 3-0 for the home squad. Team mobbing Repetto in that corner. That goal brought to you by Wheels. And Repetto's first goal of the regular season, he's all smiles.
Hits off the chest of Tyler Bagley. Get away with on Miami FC. There is an argument to be had. I don't think it is any reason to point to the spot. But Claudio Repetto, cool, calm, collected. What you want from your striker. Calmly steps up to it, sends Zuluaga the wrong way, finds it back in the net to get his goal on the day. Miami FC sitting extremely nice. 3-0 in this first half.
If you would have told me Miami is scoring 3 goals today, I would have been absolutely floored because of the fact that they've had chances in other matches with teams that aren't necessarily defensive minded. But coming into today, they've not only made their breaks, but they've had something go for them that, and quite frankly, from that angle, and you identified it, it looked just bad luck.
It's such a difficult, when you're the referee, to see it from that angle. Yes, Tyler Bagley's arm is extended, and it looks big, but it doesn't hit his hand, it hits his body. And Miami FC won't care. They'll take the goal, they'll take the kick from the spot. Credit off to Claudio Repetto, he's been terrific.
Sorto. And oddly enough, I mean, just for those that are looking at the outside, looking in, you were pointing towards the spot, and you were pointing towards the lead official. I'm trying to hone in and say, what did he see that was giving us a handball inside the box? But it goes against Bagley, and it goes against Las Vegas, but Miami will take whatever they can get. They have equaled their goal production for the season already today. 3 goals coming into the contest and 3 today. Strange game though, right? It could happen to anybody and everybody. And right now, you have 3 goals, 1 scored by Repetto, Sorto, and Paco Craig. And for Repetto, he's got a goal and an assist today. Jimenez, who's down right now. And Ledesma, he's pointing towards his bench.
As this ball comes out into the center channel. See, there is Bo, who doesn't agree with it, just comes into the backside of Ledesma. I'm able to see what happened to Jimenez there.
We'll go back to the activity in a moment with Jimenez. The 3 goals scored by Miami, the most they have scored this season. They've also had more shots today in the first half than their season average of 3. Wow, and Jimenez.
And you can see what he's doing, makes the most out of that.
Yeah, it's an Academy Award right there for Jimenez.
And a yellow card issued to Las Vegas.
So Sorto gets a yellow card there. Jimenez also with 1. We're in the 44th minute. it is a bit of a stat that you might look at and say, all right, well, they're up there now, but Sacramento, they've scored 9 goals this season. Monterey Bay has scored 7. So the stats are a little misleading when you look at the fact that Sacramento is undefeated on the year. Monterey Bay's got some victories under their belt. But those are only 2 clubs that have scored more goals now than Miami FC. Things have opened up, and now, as you'd mentioned it, Ricky, it's turning into a stat game. Make sure you stay with us at the break. We'll have first half highlights, some stats, news and notes around USL Championship, and of course, we get a peek at an upcoming schedule or 2. That includes Inter Miami. They're waiting, they're watching. And there'll be an upcoming opponent for Miami FC as the 4th official holding up 3 minutes of stoppage time. Here's Craig here. So Craig, Sorto, Repetto with markers. Always helps when the guy that you're spotlighting in the open, Ricky, makes you look like a genius.
Make it look smart.
Claudio Repetto with a goal and an assist. He scored a goal in the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup a couple weeks ago, and now adding to his tally here in 2023. But this is his first goal of the regular season. Today, I was off a penalty just moments ago. But completely deflating for Las Vegas, and they can't get out of here anytime soon. So they'll have to play this thing out. Hopefully get the offense in gear. They've scored 5 goals this season, but now have conceded 8. Stanley, time winding down, lets that thing rip from about 25 yards out, but that one's a souvenir for the fans.
We've talked about it all day for Las Vegas Lights. Just see the gaps in between the lines. Miami FC extremely quick to play in between, play vertical. It's not a PK. It hits Tyler Bagley in the center of the channel. But once again, it's just the spacing, the lack of recovery runs between Bushu and Jimenez. As this ball comes by, there's no reaction, David.
Yeah.
Everyone just turns around. Repetto has a 5-yard gap to pull the trigger, and that's what creates the goal. And that's what Las Vegas Lights has been lacking, that center presence. Miami FC doing extremely well, playing quick between the lines and being very proactive.
Great effort for Ryan Telfer right there. He was indicating that Bagley had that ball go off of his arm. Good job of selling it by Telfer. But to your point, Repetto created that opportunity with the shot.
There's no backtrack from him, so he's able to turn, have a clean strike on it. Zuluaga does extremely well to parry it away. Yeah. But again, Telfer's the first to react.
Repetto trying to get to this one now, but it's wiped away at the last second. So it looks like we'll have one final push for Miami, trying to get goal number 4. Zuluaga conceding 3 so far. Stanley on the reverse, Bolu, and Curtis Thorne. And that'll do it for the first half of action. And action we did have, not 1, not 2, but 3 goals in the first 45 minutes of action, including from that man right there, Christian Sordo. We got the offense in gear early on. Miami out in front early, 3-0.
And it's going to be interesting to see what Anthony Pulis does coming into the second half. Does he dip into his bent bench earlier than he expected with the busy week. But for Las Vegas Lights, if you're Sergio Sanchez, you saw how passionate he was at that hydration break. They need to be better, plain simple, in the second half in terms of their effort, their shape, compactness. And when you get to that front line, whether it's Pato Torres, whether it is Kubo Torres, feed them more, have secondary movements, and there's nothing to lose in this next 45, so it's going to be interesting for both of these clubs.
Sorto in the 6th minute, Craig in the 9th, and Claudio Repetto on a penalty in the 40th minute. It is all Miami FC. 45 minutes in the books, and they lead by a wide margin. 3-0 Miami. More to come on the other side.
Some people think Miami is just flamingos and palm trees.
And hell yes, we have badass sunsets.
But Miami's Little Havana,
Doral,
Little Haiti,
Hialeah,
Wynwood, Coconut Grove,
Handle,
Calle Ocho,
Sweetwater,
Homestead,
cortaditos y coladas
empanadas y croquetas.
is so much more. This is the 305.
This is who we really are. This is what we are all about.
I am Latino.
I'm a disruptor.
I am LGBTQ.
I am a villain.
I am a mother.
I am Haitian.
I am an athlete.
I am an activist.
I am a king.
I am American dream.
I am the future.
I am.
I am
AFC. Back here at FIU Stadium, Miami FC 3-0 over Las Vegas Lights FC with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm David Gascon. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And Ricky would dip into the schedule. A lot of upcoming activity for Miami and nothing bigger than what we have on the docket next.
And you're looking at Anthony Pulis in Miami FC. This week is massive. Yes, you're taking care of business in this first half against Vegas, but you welcome Inter Miami Classico. That one is going to be spectacular. The lack of form that Inter Miami is in, 6 losses in a row. So what does this look like? But then you get on a plane, you go to Oakland, and you go to Lou City, but you welcome Birmingham and San Diego. Very competitive upcoming schedule and really important stretch of games here for Anthony Pulis.
Yeah, San Diego just the one loss in the season. Of course, Lou City has made a name for themselves at the course of their USL Championship history. So that is what is on the menu for Miami FC, and on the other side for Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, there's 2 things you can take from this. Yes, you're going to be pleased that you're playing at home, but you're also going to you have RSL going to San Antonio as a reigning champion. That's going to be very impressive to see what Isidro Sanchez can do. Tulsa, really talented and really, and again, competitive schedule here for Las Vegas Lights.
Yeah, San Antonio, the reigning champs, as you had mentioned, just 1 loss in the season. 3-1-3 to open up the campaign, but it will be good. 6 matches in a row that they'll be opening up on the road before they return home. And then all of a sudden they turn back home to see if they can do any kind of damage against Charleston. That is on May the 5th. But here right now, they're in a world that hurt. Paco Craig, his 2nd goal of the season, is one of the markers. Sorto and Repetto their own as well. And it's 3-0 Miami. More to come on the other side.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
No one was born a hero. It's an everyday journey. There are no shortcuts, no days off, no perfect scenarios. Things won't always go the way you expect. But overcoming challenges is part of the game too. Your time is now. When passion runs through you, become your own hero.
I don't know if it's happy hour somewhere right now, but just past 5 o'clock on the East Coast, Miami FC has opened up a barrage on Las Vegas Lights FC. 3-0 is a score right now with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm David Gask on this halftime report brought to you by FPL. And also, we look at all the news and notes around the league, Ricky.
You're seeing Oakland Roots submit a proposal right next to the Oakland Coliseum. Anything about the Oakland Roots, they're going to grab this club with both hands. Well, they're about to lose the A's as well. So what does this look like in terms of the Oakland Roots faithful? You know anything about them? The atmosphere that will be once they get there. Sacramento Republic and Charleston Battery, top of the table for the Eastern and Western Conference, and then a massive opportunity for Miami FC going to Lynn Family Stadium on May 13th. ESPN2, that one's going to be terrific.
What are you rocking? You rocking a three-piece suit for that?
Oh, that's not way above my pay grade.
Fair enough. Today and tonight on USL Championship, San Diego and Tampa Bay. But the upcoming menu as well. We're just 6 days away. You got Detroit, Tampa, FC Tulsa, Sacramento, Indy, Pittsburgh, Memphis, Lou City, Charleston, Colorado Springs, Switchbacks FC. What do you like amongst all of these?
Well, first of all, Tampa Bay Rowdies going to San Diego. That's a long trip, but Nate Miller has everything clicking for San Diego Loyal at the moment. But then going down to this bottom right, Memphis 901 getting their first win last night at RGV. They're playing host to Lou City, who had a very difficult draw at Charleston. That was 1-2 last year, but how things can change. You go up one in the 11, alarm bells. Mark Lowry has a lot of talent, but unable to find that finishing touch to grab points and climb up the table. But this is what you want for USL Championship, just how competitive and how quickly things can change. There's no bad games anymore.
Fair enough. So that's the upcoming schedule on USL Championship. As we now take a look at the scoreboard as well, San Antonio and Phoenix, they played to a 1-1 draw.
And you have Memphis, what I just talked about, beating RGV 3-0. The Birmingham Legion, only 3 players on the bench, coming off of a 3-0 loss. What was the reaction going to look like? Going to Orange County, who's on the heels of their first win. They take all 3 points. Sacramento doing what Sacramento does. Detroit City takes them down. And then Loudoun is leading Oakland Roots 1-0 at halftime. This Ryan Martin side completely different from a year ago, and they're never an easy out now.
Very surprising indeed. And Detroit has had a miserable start to open up the season. 1-5-1 for Detroit. But right now, you're looking at a beautiful sightline. Miami FC, wind blowing out to the east, leading Las Vegas Lights FC. 3-0 is the score. More to come on the other side.
Some people think Miami is just flamingos and palm trees.
And hell yes, we have badass sunsets.
But Miami's Little Havana,
Doral,
Little Haiti,
Hialeah,
Wynwood, Coconut Grove,
Kendall,
Calle Ocho,
Sweetwater,
Homestead,
cortaditos y coladas
empanadas y croquetas.
is so much more. This is the 305.
This is who we really are. This is what we are all about.
I am Latino.
I'm a disruptor.
I am LGBTQ.
I am a villain.
I am a mother.
I am Haitian.
I'm an athlete.
I am an activist.
I am a king.
I am American dream.
I am the future.
I am Miami FC.
This broadcast is brought to you by Tata 2, Macron, and Good Greek Moving and Storage. And welcome back to the FPL Halftime, presented by Macron. Learn how FPL is investing in Florida's future at FPL.com/value. Ricky, plenty of highlights in this thing.
And how quickly they play through the lines and how they spread this ball out. But just look at the movement, or lack thereof, from Carlos Soto. As Zach Carroll pushes back, there's no one covering, whether it's Jacob Bushu, whether it's Zach Carroll. Carlos Soto's movement is spot on here. You understand, if I go towards the end line, I'm going to be covered. I'll just hang out. When you have a player like Claudio Repetto, who has a composure once you get to that final third, cutback ball off to the corner to celebrate Miami FC. Dreams are, but they weren't done yet. Within the first 10 minutes, Curtis Dorn, we've seen it throughout his career in the States, ball in, Paco Craig doing what Paco Craig does, goes up and gets it, makes no mistake about the header, snapping it down. There's nothing that Zuluaga can do. The power, the pace, the precision, all of the above from Paco Craig. You want your leader to stand up in big times. And then again, the lack of movement, the lack of commitment. You just see how many players from Las Vegas Lights are standing around. Ryan Telfer anticipates. It's not a handball. It hits Taylor Bagley's chest, but the referee, not the best angle. You can just see here, it's clear as day, but Repetto makes this ball happen. Tyler Craig quicker than Tyler Bagley, hits the chest, but you know who won't ask any question. You know who won't care. It's one who had the assist earlier in this game. Claudio Repetto sends Zuluaga the wrong way. Cool, calm, collected, and off to the corner. That's how Miami FC is sitting nice and pretty, 3-0 at halftime.
He made no mistake about it. And now here are your first half stats, brought to you by Takes. The numbers all on one side of the ledger. And you think about it, this could have been 3-0 in the first 10 minutes of action.
Yeah, if you're Anthony Pulis, now you're going to start to see you bring players in. But for Isidro Sanchez, one shot in that first half. You need to have more productivity on that front line. Get the ball into Pato, Botella Faz, Kubo Torres. We rarely said those two players' names, but it's having a difficult time dealing with the press for Las Vegas, the inability to play through lines, but also when they go route one, there needs to be a secondary movement, someone to come underneath. So it's going to be interesting this next 45 minutes here.
So changes for Anthony Pulis, I don't know if you would make any, but what is the message to your guys as you come out for the second half?
I think keep the foot on the gas pedal, but you take out Florian Velo, you take out Claudio Repetto. That's an eye on Wednesday, that massive match that you have. And we're going to see Michael Lawrence, what does this look like? First professional appearance for him, and then Joaquin Rivas, a player that is so highly touted in this USL Championship. And then you have Ledesma coming off from Ingram of Las Vegas Lights.
And one of the things that Anthony Pulis had spoken to us about with Michael Lawrence is he likes Michael. In fact, Michael trained with them prior to the season getting underway. So he felt like with the circumstances, how unfortunate they are, a bit banged up, they needed an extra guy. Signed Lawrence a couple days ago to a 25-day contract. And this serves a purpose for two different things. One, for Lawrence, because he gets some game reps and activity. And two, it fills that void right now for Miami FC while they're a little walking and wounded.
And what an opportunity for Michael Lawrence to come in and make his impact felt, not only to Miami FC, but leagues around USL Championship, to say, look, I have the quality to play at this level and to make my impact felt. It's a big opportunity for this young man.
So Rivas and Lawrence are in, and as you mentioned it, Repetto will sit. Also, Flo Velo will also depart for a little while. So this is a dream scenario for Anthony Pulis. One is you get a lead. Two, you build on the lead, and then you let your starters grab some air and rest for a while. That's a massive win.
But once again, it's another test for the players on the field. You don't want to get complacent. You know anything about this Las Vegas Lights side, anything about Isidro Sanchez, they're never going to give up. They're going to fight to that final whistle. So complacency is going to be your worst nightmare. Move the ball quick. Do exactly what you were doing in that first half as you see a man down for Vegas.
Huge for them. Las Vegas 0-4 heading into today's affair. And for Miami FC 0-2-4 is Joaquin Rivas, who scored last year against this Las Vegas squad, now appearing in his 7th match of the season. And an injured player for Las Vegas down on the deck. Trying to get a number on who that is. Alejandro Metrano appears to be the one grimacing on his backside. Metrano needing some help. And keep in mind the second half just got underway too. Almost reminiscent of Callum Chapman-Page last week. He had a great chance before the first half expired a week ago against Detroit. Was stopped on a header, and the second half, pop goes the hammy. Marcelo Lage now into the contest. So Lage in, Metrano out. 22-year-old product, graduated recently from Hofstra.
Your attention, please. Substitution.
So Miami trying to build on this. 3-0 lead, all 3 goals scored in the first half. 2 in the first 9 minutes of action. So you look at where they are right now, Miami sitting in the driver's seat, but still a lot of work in front of them. The 3 goals they've scored today have equaled the output all season for them. Dangerous spot here with a wide open net. Joaquin Rivas, empty net goal, and it's 4-0 Miami FC. Zuluaga was left for dead, so he had no chance on that unless he came out to commit. Zuluaga in a tough spot. Rivas made him pay.
Give credit to Michael Lawrence, just the never quit attitude. Realize you never want to play a blind ball, especially when you're playing to your goalkeeper. Rivas does extremely well. He reads it, picks the pocket, gets it right before Zuluaga steps off his line, but that's a big no-no for a center back. When you're playing back to your goalkeeper or to a center back, you need to be extremely certain of your surroundings. Blind, you're always going to get in trouble. Rivas won't have an easier goal in his career. 4-0 Miami FC.
Wow, it is a boat race, and for Rivas, it's his first goal of the season. He also has one helper, that goal occurring in the 49th minute. And that goal brought to you by Wheels. Had 4 of them on the day. And now the question is, how many more are we going to get? This is stat stuffing, but yeah, as you mentioned, that is just a poor pass back to the keeper. Zuluaga, it was hung out to dry.
Once again, if you're Michael Lawrence, just a pure effort to make that decision for Lage, making your impact felt immediately.
Las Vegas trying to put a dent into this thing. Jimenez settles it down. Jimenez picked up a yellow card in the first 45. Zendejas off his line to grab that one. An important note too for Miami heading into the second half. They have not allowed the opposition to score a goal in the first half in 5 of their first 7 matches this year. So an important factor for them when you think about trying to play a complete 90. Play clean for one half, and now it's just about making some adjustments and tweaking things on the back end. Take a look at big Michael Lawrence there.
Nice little nifty move from Lawrence to skip away from Tyler Bagley. You just see the studs are exposed. Catches Lawrence on the right foot. He knows it right away.
We'll see what kind of work Michael gets here today. He's a big guy, 6'2" and just under 200 pounds at 195. Sorto. Michael playing his ball at Nova Southeastern University. And now as a professional, trying to find a home. But as Anthony Pulis had mentioned to us earlier in the week, he likes a lot of what Michael brings to the game. It's about finding a spot. But of course, you got to earn those spots when the opportunity presents itself. And the unfortunate reason for Michael's chance here today is a few injuries. But take what you can get and then build on it.
Exactly. As a player, you can only ask for an opportunity, and what you do with that opportunity is the key. Big 45 minutes for the young man.
Rivas trying to make it 2. That one denied. The rebound, that one stopped 2. 2 chances, otherwise it would have been 5-0. And we get a stoppage here on the far side. Lawrence. Looked like some head contact. We go back to the sequence.
And it's awkward for Zuluaga as this ball just bops off the turf right in front of him, but you never want to put it into a traffic area. And what an opportunity for Michael Lawrence to make his impact felt. Falls extremely nice to him, just scuffs it. He puts it any corner. It's in the back of the net. Goal on his debut. I think his eyes got a bit too wide open. Unable to hit the contact that he knows he has. The quality's going to want this one back.
I mean, you couldn't have made that thing any more tailor-made for Lawrence. That's unfortunate for the youngster.
He's a bit too eager, and he swipes at it. Doesn't need to hit it too hard. Just at that point in time, you just need to focus on getting clean contact, picking a corner.
Got an injured member of Las Vegas right now on the deck. It's Carlton coming off the pitch. So Duaga making the initial stop on Rivas, and Michael Lawrence. We're just discussing him coming in as a new member of Miami FC. A couple of inches away from notching his first goal.
What Zuluaga did extremely well in that first half was parry it away. This time he parries it right into traffic. And Alex Lawrence, you can just see as he hits it off the ground, doesn't get good contact, and he knows it, hand on his head. He's gonna want that one back. What a brilliant opportunity.
You don't get many chances that close in proximity. We'll see if Lawrence can get another one. That one played away.
But once again, 8 minutes in, you just see just the movement and the work rate from him. And that's something that any coach, not only Anthony Pulis, is going to be extremely proud about. Being able to inject energy, work rate, all of the above into the second half for Miami FC.
Lawrence. Here's Stanley. Lawrence trying to maneuver. Lawrence, good job maintaining his footing. Lawrence turns it and fires, just did not get a lot of sauce on it. It's a tough man to bring down, though, and great agility from Lawrence.
He's going to have a lot of success and a lot of service in the second half, and what he does with it is going to be extremely important. Ability to create your own shot, not enough contact once again. He does well to invite the contact and roll off of it.
Bagley. So Rivas with the goal here in the second half, and for Rivas, his first goal of the season, along with 1 assist. Stats so far, sorry about that, Ricky.
You just see there's no connection at the moment for Las Vegas Lights. Playing Route 1, but there needs to be a secondary movement to play that support system for Kubo Torres and Botello Foz. At the moment, Las Vegas Lights not really clicking on the attacking phase of this game.
7 shots on target for Miami. It's 4 of them have found the back of the net. It's a heck of a percentage. Volume is everything. That on goal, and Zendejas with the denial. Botello Faz is on the doorstep. Zendejas trying to work on back-to-back clean sheets. Was fine there.
And it's quality on this right-hand side between Zach Kerr and Lucas Stauffer. Picks up his head, whips a brilliant ball in, and Pato Botello Faz finds a soft spot between Mark Segburst and Curtis Thorne, and he does everything right. He heads it down, trying to squeak it into this far post. Zendejas just calmly pushes it over.
Someone from Miami that's now down the deck. That might be Curtis Thorne. Yeah, and Zendejas reading that ball well off the head of Botello Faz. We got 2 players that are down, one for Las Vegas. That's Paco Craig, I beg your pardon. Another substitution for Las Vegas. Looks to be Daniel Rios. That'll be coming in. And that is the case. And Tabor Preston also coming in. So it appears that both teams will be emptying their benches. So Rios now in for Jimenez, 19 in, 22 out. So Isidro Sanchez needing some help. And we'll see if the defense can pick up where he thought they would be from a week ago, but conceding 2 goals to Memphis and now 4 here today, albeit 1 off of a penalty. But Rios in and Preston splitting 2 defenders, and Zendejas again sharp on that. Top of the box. So more work in the second half than all the first for Zendejas, and really about 13 minutes into the second frame.
And a sign of life here from Tabor Preston. Ability to run, create his own space as he comes into the interior. Doesn't need a second invitation to pull the trigger. Hit extremely well, but just so unfortunate for the tricky winger. It's straight at Zendejas, but something that if you're Isidro Sanchez, you want more of. Players taking the initiative, having the courageousness to ask questions and test Miami FC.
Well, they didn't do any of this in the first half. I mean, it was all on the heels of what Miami was doing and then just trying to respond in kind, but they really couldn't do anything of that. That attempt missing wide of the short side by Botello Faz.
Yeah, it just comes out awkwardly on Botello Faz. Very difficult technique as you're riding Paco Craig to get your body control, let it come down. Be patient with it. But again, you just see the willingness for Las Vegas Lights, something that we didn't see in that first half. To commit numbers forward, ask questions, get in behind, just take chances, express yourself in that final third.
Another break here, but Rivas is going to be ruled offside.
They need to be extremely careful though, as you're trying to force turnovers from Miami FC. Your secondary movement and your thirdary line need to come together. You don't want to have those gaps. We saw what happens when you have 15, 20 yards between lines. Miami FC, the movement between Sorto and Telfer, so decisive.
Just a friendly reminder, we'll be back with you on Wednesday, April 26th. Kickoff time at 7:30 Eastern with Inter Miami and Miami FC, US Open Cup. And with the score being as it is right now, with a yellow card going to be provided, a few guys that are banged up: Callum Murphy, Callum Chapman Page, and also Moises Hernandez. Hernandez was hurt last week against Detroit.
And once again, it's Tabor Preston putting a lot of pressure on Mark Segbers as he bites in. As a defender, you never want to make the first move. It plays into the hands of the attacker. Push it by it, feel contact, go down. Now Mark Segbers is sitting on a yellow card.
So Segbers with the yellow card. Not a lot of dirty activity on either side today. Las Vegas has about 6 inside the 18, 1 outside of it. See a kind of delivery here, and that one redirected towards target, but just missing a little bit short on that. Torres didn't even call his number at all today. Ryan Telfer going to depart. Moises Hernandez being introduced, and we'll get some action here today after all. So that is a good sign, at least for Hernandez, who was nicked up in that draw to Detroit. Replaces Telfer. But on a warm day like it is today, Ricky, always good to err on the side of caution when you have a pretty insurmountable advantage.
Surprise. Anthony Poulos didn't pull Palco Craig out. We saw him go down moments ago. But now it looks, can quickly look into it back four with Aiden Stanley playing on the left side, Craig, Hernandez, and Segbers.
Hernandez barely getting a piece of it. Zendejas has to come out and challenge with an open net. A couple players for Las Vegas, but wiped away at the last second by Bolu. Sorto trying to maintain possession. He did. Rivas tied up for a brief moment. Good job by Miami to hold their ground. The first sign of sustained pressure by Las Vegas, but did not pay off for them. 64th minute. Preston here. Inside the touch back to him was eliminated by Thorne. Lawrence, who had a shot at target as soon as he entered the match, is in now. Run attempt for him there. Broken up by Carroll. So Rivas today with the marker. Repetto, Craig, Christian Sordo. Next USL Championship match for Las Vegas will be at San Antonio. But they also have some Open Cup action.
Come on, boys. Come on, Danny. Come on, Danny.
In a few days from now.
Come on, Justin.
Duna. Bolu over the left-hand side. And Ricky, with a situation as it is right now, a one-sided tilt at 4-0 in the 65th minute. If you're Anthony Poulos, how do you want to play this string out?
Take care of the ball first and foremost. The ball is your best friend at the moment. Let Las Vegas Lights do all the running. Let them open them the gaps. Be confident, be simple with the ball from left to right. When those gaps open up, be extremely quick to break those lines. You want to get the ball into Michael Lawrence, who I thought, since he's come on, has been extremely bright just in his work rate. But you don't want, we talked about it, David, you don't want to get complacent, especially in that back line. You don't want to get sloppy. You don't want to give up a sloppy goal in, because we know how important clean sheets are for goalkeepers like Zendejas. And that's something that Anthony Poulos mentioned to us on the phone call. So those little things that, yes, you're up 4-0. Yes, it seems like this game is done and dusted. But you need to move the ball quicker to try to get 5, to try to get 6, to kickstart your attack that's been lacking for 6 games into the season.
4 goals today, more than they had scored all season.
Exactly.
But yeah, those clean sheets, not only are they important for the keepers, but also the defense.
To have that confidence, they have that familiarity between players to know how to keep teams out of your goal.
And not to give the opposition any kind of life. Not to say that Las Vegas is scoring 4 goals in the next 25 minutes, but you don't want to have them feel good about anything, even in a defeat. But it is a wide margin, and it happened early on. Sorto's goal in the 6th minute. Paco Craig 3 minutes after that. Repetto in the 40th. And then Rivas in the second half. And what would be an empty net goal for all intents and purposes. Preston here came off the bench, and Zendejas on the cutoff here.
Attention, please. Substitution for Las Vegas.
Got another substitution for Las Vegas as Preston's down and out.
Number 9, Patricio Botello. In number 11, Asdiel Gonzalez.
Osriel Gonzalez looks like he'll be coming in a brief moment. Preston appears to be okay. Botello Faz's day is over with. Gonzalez is in for him.
Yeah, frustrating afternoon for Pato. Unable to make his impact felt to really get into the game. The service wasn't there. Frustrating afternoon for the striker.
It looks to be a foul, and it is the case. Stanley trying to get himself up. Stopper a bit confused on that. Miami has 11 shots here today, and they equaled their output from last week, 11 versus Detroit. Their average for the season is just a hair over 9. So plenty of high marks for them today. Looks and feels inevitable, but their first win of the season is just a few moments away. But a lot of things to feel confident about. The defense has been there all season long, and now if the offense can start clicking, watch out. Segburst to Sorto. That didn't lie where it was. Zuluaga will break it up. Last season, Las Vegas had 45 points. They were 9th in the Western Conference. Just a game under 500. But they were minus 10 in the goal differential. Today, they came into the affair with an even goal differential. 5 goals for, 5 had conceded, but a shellacking of 4-0 will put a dent into that thing and then some.
These next 20 minutes for Las Vegas Lights, if you're a player, are extremely important. Just in gaining the trust from your head coach. They're willing to say, look, probably not our best day this far. The game's not over yet, obviously, but this far, frustrating, things not clicking. But when things get tough, I'm not going to come into a shell. I'm going to face it into the eyes of adversity and keep on going, keep on fighting, play to that final whistle. And those little things do worlds of good for the trust in coaches. He knows he can count on you. He knows that you're going to always put your 100% effort, and that you have to talk to any coach in the USL Championship. The first thing they're going to say is we have to be the hardest working team on the field. And it's another opportunity for the Las Vegas Lights to prove to Cedro Sanchez that when the team sheet comes out, I should be on that first 11.
Play broken up nicely by Bolu. Stanley trying to flag it down. He does. Another substitution here. Looks to be that man right there, Michael Salazar. Salazar
coming in for Christian Sorto. Sorto right now looks like he'll have the game-winning goal, at least for the time being. And Michael Salazar, Ricky, will be playing now in his 100th USL Championship match. You always look at barometers, right? 50, 100, 150, whether it's goals, appearances, assists. But playing in 100 matches in USL Championship.
Fantastic. Just talks volumes to the professional that he is, to be able to first be healthy.
Yeah.
Have the career that he's had and score goals for fun, create assists. He's been just terrific, and he's a massive signing for Miami FC. And he's going to be a massive X factor going forward once you start getting into the later stages of this season.
A couple players nicked up, and guys have stepped up for Anthony Pulis. And I got to imagine with the quick turnaround with Inter Miami on Wednesday, what do you think the approach is, and how typical would it be to get any kind of practice time in the next 48 hours?
I think you don't have training. If you do, it's maybe a little possession, rondo, soccer, tennis, just to get your legs underneath you.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, maybe the boys are in for a regeneration, or the day off completely. Tuesday, they're in for regeneration, whatever Anthony Pulis likes to do.
Preston, that one top of the box, and they get one. Las Vegas does. Stauffer, his second goal of the season, and it's 4-1 Miami FC. So a breakdown for Miami. Zendejas not happy about it, but Lucas Stauffer, something to be happy about. A reward here for the work from Preston.
And he's been so active since coming on to step over. There's shouts for the ball to go over the line. It seems like it does. Lucas Stauffer does extremely well. The secondary movement off the back post. Everyone is on their heels playing referee. You can just see clinical finish. The ball's coming across. Doesn't need to hit it too hard. Just needs to get good contact. Closes his hips and just ropes this into that far post. There's nothing Zendejas can do with the traffic in front of him. Second game in a row with the goal from a right back position. Terrific signing for Las Vegas from Lucas Stauffer.
Scores his goal in the 72nd minute. He's the proud product of Creighton. Rick, you know a thing or two about Creighton. You looked at a couple universities. Creighton was one of them. UCLA, you mentioned, North Carolina, and had plenty of opportunities to go everywhere across the United States. What did you like about Creighton at your time?
First of all, the history that they've had within college soccer. When I was at Elmar Bolovich as the coach, now Johnny Torres doing extremely well, coming up the heels of a Final Four. But just the ability to further my career in school, and then obviously give me an opportunity to, in hopes to get drafted.
Yeah.
And I just can't be thankful enough for my opportunity there. And I think everyone who is thinking about playing college soccer, definitely look at Creighton University.
There you go. A nice little recruiting.
There you go.
Recruiting trip courtesy of Ricky Lopez-Espin. So Stauffer's second goal of the year. That ball appeared to be out of bounds, but Stauffer will certainly take it. And no VAR today, so whether Stauffer's having that goal or maybe the one taken away by Repetto on the penalty, those things tend to even out as the season goes along.
Anthony Pulis are going to be frustrated as well. For the players just to stop and play referee. And secondly, to let in a goal. We talked about how important the clean sheet is.
Yeah. When
you're up 4-0, that is the second check mark to be had. You want to take points, and you want to have clean sheets in the back. Soft goal to give up for Miami FC.
Utterly surprised to see 5 goals scored in this match today. Did not see that at all. Now, if you would have told me that Miami would have scored 4 goals over the next few days, that's obviously a possibility. But you're talking about with Anthony Pulis, 4 matches in 11 days. It's no rest for the weary.
Well, for both of these organizations as well, you have Las Vegas Lights playing on a Sunday, a Wednesday, Saturday. It's on 3 games in 6 days due to travel as well. Not an easy task for this Las Vegas Lights side. So it's all about, after the final whistle goes, it's all about recovery for both of these sides.
Oh, indeed it is. The recovery, but the weather element as well, as that shot misses, and Deas with a good effort there, trying to get to that in time. I don't know, what was the recovery like for you back in the day? Cryotherapy? Were you getting a massage treatment? Were you going into
ice baths?
Ice baths, all right.
Compact, the Nordic, I think they're called, the Normatec sleeve pants that you put on.
The sleeve pants, right.
Let me take a look at here. Gonzalez, once again, just a bit sloppy for Miami FC at the moment. Not sloppy turnovers, not connecting their passes, no one closing down. Bolak and Yodi comes across. And Gonzalez, who's been extremely active since coming on. I think the substitutions for Isidro Sanchez have done terrific.
Salazar here. Michael did not start, but he's moving around now. Yeah, you figure the players that were coming off the pitch for Las Vegas being replaced by Isidro Sanchez. You heard a lot of the message that he was giving the starting 11 during that water break in the 31st minute. He was laying into everybody and anyone that was around. This thing has not been pleasant for the road team, and an emphatic start. And for Miami, they've desperately needed this. Not only because of the stats, but also because of the psyche. It feels like week in and week out, you had that conversation with Anthony Pulis, and he has the same message. It's going to happen, it's going to happen, and you're just waiting, okay.
Here to keep the legs of players that have come off the field to preserve them for Wednesday. 4 goals. Anthony Pulis, you can't write a better script than this. Yes, there's 13 minutes plus left in this game. So far, so good from the home side, scoring goals. Defensively, they've been okay. The last couple of minutes have been shaky. But also having players to get a run out, players that are gone to the bench, Repetto, Sorso, Velo, Telfer, who are going to have a big say in the Miami Classico coming up.
When you think about how that matchup is going to be, we could look at it for just a brief moment, because Inter Miami is not playing splendid ball here this season.
6 games on a row without a win, all losses. So 2 teams that are going in different directions for Miami FC. This is what you needed, scoring goals, get your attacking unit involved. And it's a good sight to see Ben Ofemiu come in. He was a massive part last year due to injury. Wasn't able to make his impact felt. So Anthony Pulis, it's another player to come off the field to preserve their legs. Another player get his run out.
Ofemiu is in now. First time we've called his number this season. Yeah, Inter Miami, a goal differential of -3. 2-6. It's hard to believe. The first 8 matches of this season. But you know who doesn't care? Miami FC. They could not give a rip. You get the crosstown rivalry like that, and they didn't have the advantage against Tampa Bay, losing that match 2-0 in USL Championship. But they'll see Tampa Bay again later on the season. But the Open Cup, you play for keeps. And if you're not familiar with the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup, that is full-time and maybe extra if need be. There's no draws in that, so you will play extra time, and you can go to penalties to decide a winner if need be.
Just the spacing for Las Vegas, especially in the middle of the field, has been far better in the second half. You bring in Rios, you bring in Ingram, just to solidify and have that security blanket in terms of possession, but also defensively. You start to see committing more numbers forward, creating overloads on the wide areas. Isidro Sanchez, that is a positive that you can take out of the second half. Just the insertion from the substitutions, but also the shape that your boys have been playing.
So it's certainly more pleasant in the second half for Las Vegas. And if you want to look at it in segments, they've played level with Miami here in the second half, scoring a goal, conceding one. But when you're down 3-0, that shot's on goal, an easy stop for Zendejas. Gonzalez, the one firing towards target.
But once again, that's something that didn't happen in the first half. Whether it's Gonzalez that comes centrally, we have Tyler Bagley making the overlap run. Those little movements to create space for one another.
Yeah, Las Vegas wasn't even a threat in the first 45. But not instilling any kind of fear proved to be detrimental to Las Vegas. Down 1-0, 6 minutes in. Down 2-0, 9 minutes in. Stauffer got him on the board here in the second half, but it is really just cosmetic. Preston. Preston on it again. Try his luck for a second attempt, and this results in a goal kick. Make sure you turn in with us after the match is over. We will have our Tata 2 man of the match. Got some decent guesses who it might be. Can you give us a hint, Rinky?
You score a goal, you're always in the running.
All right, so you got a pretty decent shot at this. 4 players today have scored. Sorto, one of them. Paco Craig, another. Repetto has one. And Joaquin Rivas has the other. I'm going to say Rivas is not the man of the match. That was the 4th goal, making it 4-0.
Your attention, please.
It looks like a yellow card being provided to Agents and Dejas. 83rd minute for that yellow card. Slowing down the match. Not that he needed to by any stretch of the imagination. This one played through. Just more attempts and opportunities here for Las Vegas. The will and the opportunity here in the last 45 more evident than the first. Torres exhausted himself, but we haven't called guys like Eric Torres at all in the first half. They were non-existent.
1 shot on goal for the whole of Las Vegas Lights. Again, just the changes that Isidro Sanchez has made, just giving life, ideas, creativity, just bravery to take chances once they break into that final third for Las Vegas. Pato Botella, Faz, Cubo Torres, players that we know can stick the ball in the back of the net throughout their USL Championship career. But it's a service that you supply them with that needs to be a bit better if you're the Las Vegas Lights.
Well, they have Real Salt Lake on Wednesday for US Open Cup action, while Miami FC has Inter Miami. And then they get back on the horse shortly after that, on the road again at San Antonio FC. That's on April the 29th. And the good thing is although you're going to lose today, you have a quick turnaround so you can soon forget whatever happened. You know, Isidro Sanchez is going to be leaning into his guys over the next 48 hours. Making sure what happens today does not occur the rest of the season. Sanchez trying to leave a mark. He does in the cross. That ball nearly came back to him. Lawrence. It's a nice look there from Salazar. Salazar trying to attack and bring this up to a 4-goal advantage again.
It's a good opportunity here for Miami FC, but take note of just a recovery run here from Jacob Bushu. We talked about your center midfielders doing the dirty work. There was nothing like that in that first half, but now he comes down and saves a goal. Good idea from Salazar to rip it into that back post, as Rivas is just hanging around. But last-ditch defending effort and just the will. We talked about the will, David, to get back and to deny that ball across. Just terrific work from Jacob Bushu in that instance.
Lawrence down right now. Lawrence has been down for a good minute or two now. Concern from Anthony Pulis. Miami FC has gone to their bench on 5 different occasions. Hernandez, Rivas, Salazar, and of course that man right there, Michael Lawrence, coming off the deck. Well, he had a chance when he came in on his first touch to score. It's not look good for Michael, but he's walking off under his own power. Thorne let that thing get away, and now it's back to midfield. Saw some post-game highlights, some stats, and a quick word or two on the upcoming opponent, Inter Miami, for Miami FC. We'll be back with you on Wednesday night at 7:30. Pressed and dressed, ready to rock. Got to imagine there'll be plenty of people in attendance watching that matchup. Inter Miami winning last year 1-0. And you've seen these things up close and personal, Ricky. What does that mean, just the city of Miami?
For these players, everything. How many times have we've heard, whether it's in conversation with Miami FC, whether it's Inter Miami, just the ability to say, look, this is our city.
Yeah.
Close in proximity. A divide in terms of the fans, who are we going to represent, who are we going to cheer for. And if you're Miami FC, massive opportunity, and this is the right time that you want to play Inter. 6 games, losing streak at the moment, you're scoring 4 goals. If you're Anthony Pulis, yes, you're a bit thin in terms of your big-time players with Chapman Page out, with Kyle Murphy. But again, you have to feel very confident after this game. And what does this look like on Wednesday? Because you know the players are going to be up for it. Once it's a rivalry game, throw the records out, throw everything out. It's 90 minutes between you and me. And I just can't wait for it. It's going to be fantastic.
There'll be a lot of chirping, I imagine. Plenty of it. When this thing is all said and done, it will be Miami FC's first win of the season. Nice play broken up as Michael Lawrence will return. Preston on that attack there.
Between Preston and Ingram, I think they've been very good. Ball retention, just a pure effort to get on the end of things. Preston creating the goals, extremely active on this left-hand side. Now looking for quality from Taylor Bagley at this moment.
Speaking of Inter Miami, Ingram was drafted by Inter Miami last year. Line drive played through. Rivas just gets this thing into harm's way. Ingram also spending time with Indy 11. You see the 4th official, arms up, reading 4 minutes of stoppage time. So that's what we have here in a 4-1 beatdown. Miami FC has been in control from the start to the finish. Only real life that Las Vegas has shown has been once the reserves were called in on both ends. And Anthony Pulis
giving some of the reserves quality time here in the second half. Shots, though, for Miami FC today, 11-9 in their favor. 8 on target, 4 in the back of the net. 5 have been on target for Las Vegas. And the possession time, although it's favoring Las Vegas by a slight margin, not indicative of how they were unable to really execute defensively and lead on any kind of counter attempts versus Miami FC early on in this affair. Another cross wiped away. So impressive today, needless to say, for Miami. I'm still guessing on who you think is going to be the man of the match.
Can't spoil the surprise.
It's a professional tease there by Ricky Lopez-Espin. It's all good. Only 2 games today in USL Championship. This one, which is about to conclude, Loudoun United and Oakland Roots. Loudoun 2-0 over Oakland. Preston out wide. Trying to dance a bit. Preston been extremely active. Actually set up the lone marker for Las Vegas here today. Going between the wickets of Rivas there. Closing seconds here. Bolo's going to wrap this thing up. From Miami, they'll get their first one of the season. Takes them 7 matches. Here's Lawrence trying to put a bow on this thing. Lawrence, nice positioning. Wants one, can't get one there. The rebound, that one just skips over the crossbar. He's trying his darnest.
Thinking, what can I do to buy a goal? Creates his own space here. But it's all about the strength at this point in time. As he just peels off Falaj, has the creativeness to pull it back. Zuluaga, big time save. And then once again, Michael Lawrence, inability to get a clean strike, but brilliant technique and brilliant body control. You have to be a bit more composed once you get in that position. It's so difficult. You want to get eager, let the ball come down, patient. Miami FC 4-1, first win of the season.
First one of the season for Anthony Pulis and company. It took them 7 matches to do so, but they win it here today in convincing fashion. 4-1 is the final. So, Ricky, finally, can you please tell us who our Tata 2 man of the match is?
If you score a goal, you get an assist. Claudio Repetto, terrific. Just so busy in around that 18-yard box, plays an assist, but also steps up and finds it back in the net. As a striker, you want to make your impact felt, whether it's with the ball, without the ball, but also helps when you're able to stick the ball into the back of the net. He was terrific and well-deserved man of the match for Claudio Repetto.
So we open up speaking about Claudio. We close the show speaking about Claudio. His first goal of the season, also a helper with it. And Miami FC improves their record to 1-2-4 in the season and good for 7 points now. They've moved up into a playoff spot, albeit in the early season affair anyway, but they take care of Las Vegas, running away with this thing. 4-1 is the final. Stats, highlights, more to come on the other side, but Miami wins it for the first time this year. 4-1 is the final.
Some people think Miami is just flamingos and palm trees.
And hell yes, we have badass sunsets.
But Miami's Little Havana,
Doral,
Little Haiti,
Hialeah,
Wynwood, Coconut Grove,
Kendall,
Calle Ocho,
Sweetwater,
Homestead,
cortaditos y coladas
empanadas y croquetas.
is so much more. This is the 305.
This is who we really are. This is what we are all about.
I am Latino.
I'm a disruptor.
I am LGBTQ.
I am a villain.
I am a mother.
I am Haitian. I am an athlete.
I am an activist.
I am a king.
I am American dream.
I am the future.
I am.
I am IFC.
Closing up shop here today on the campus of FIU. Miami FC victorious in 2023 for the first time this year, taking apart Las Vegas Lights FC. 4-1 was the final score. And Ricky, please take us through the full-time highlights.
And throughout 6 games, Anthony Pujols says, look, we trust our side. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when everything starts clicking. As this ball comes into the middle of the channel, just so easy that Miami FC breaks through that midfield line for Las Vegas Lights. We talk about the lack of movement from Carlos Soto. It actually does well in his favor. He understands the back line for Las Vegas Lights is retreating towards the goal line. So Claudio Repetto has the awareness, the composure, and the quality to cut this ball back. It's not an easy finish. The ball's coming over your left shoulder. Open up your hips and hit it into that side netting. There's nothing that Zuluaga can do. Curtis Thorne, he's been terrific on set pieces, just putting the ball into a dangerous situation. Lack of 1v1 defending for Las Vegas. You don't want to lose your individual duels, but when you have Paco Craig, it's such a difficult task. He just rises up to get his second on the season. That's pretty good for center back, if I'm being honest, for Paco Craig. But once again, just so easy to break through, to play centrally. Zuluaga, massive save. But as this ball comes back, Ryan Telfer before Bagley, and we'll take a second look at it here. Gets his hips around it, just the anticipation, the quick to react. Difficult angle for the referee. It's not a handball. Hits off the stomach of Bagley. You can see Ryan Telfer, very clever, points to the spot. Who's going to step up? The man of the match. He's assist maker. The first one, secondary here, opens up his hips, sends Zuluaga the wrong way. It's a calm, cool, collected kick from the spot there from Claudio Repetto off to the corner to celebrate and show off your salsa dances. Why don't you? And then we talk about making your impact felt from the substitute. Michaels Lawrence, just a pure effort. If you're big no-no. Blind spot to your goalkeeper. Give credit to Ribas, though. Opportunistic, just sniffs this out and baits the ball in. And then David, he was never going to miss that goal. Probably the easiest goal in his professional career. And it's 4-1 at this time for Miami FC. Once again, Isidro Sanchez getting into his boys at halftime, demanding a change in pure effort and pure quality. Preston was terrific since coming on, just driving at players 1v1. Ball maybe went over the line, maybe didn't. It doesn't matter. Miami FC completely stops. You can just see everyone playing referee. That's a big no-no if you're Anthony Pujols. But Lucas Stauffer, second goal running with the goal as a right back. Terrific finish, clinical into that back of the net, and that's how Miami FC gets their first win on the season.
First one of the season for Miami. How they get it done? Now they got 7 points. 4-1 was the final. Shots 13-12. Not indicative of how this game played out. Shots on target 9-5. The possession goes to Las Vegas. But for Miami, they don't care about that. Yellow cards. You got 4 on one side, 2 for Las Vegas. No red cards. But when it's all said and done, Miami feels good today, but you can't get too high because you have Inter Miami just a couple days away.
And that's a massive match of both of these sides. Las Vegas Lights hosting RSL, Miami hosting Inter Miami. So it's all about recovery for these boys and getting your best foot forward to come back again on Wednesday. And that's the life of a footballer. Quick turnaround on Wednesday again.
We'll do it all over again Wednesday night. Las Vegas falls to 0-1-4 in the season. Miami improves their record to 1-2-4. They have Inter Miami US Open Cup Wednesday night at 7:30, and we will be there. For my broadcast partner, Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm David Gascon saying so long. Hope you enjoyed this one. Miami wins it. 4-1 was the final. Have a good one, everyone. See you later.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.